Hi, dear friends. Welcome back to Akshadhare. I am Devraj. Today is 31st August. We are in the last day of August 2023. So, I hope you guys are learning great and earning great. So, before going to start today's session, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like, and comment. If you like the video, please share it with your friends. Even they also can utilize the opportunities from Akshadhare team. And I hope you guys following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. Just if you follow the newspaper reading, really you get improve in communication very soon. So let's start reading the newspaper today newspaper. The Hindu newspaper, which is very important for especially for the who are beginners in English language. Always follow at least any newspaper, so that would be great for you to improve your communication very soon. Let's start reading the newspaper. Karnataka starts releasing water on CWMA directives. China doubles down on new map, tells India to keep calm and not to overinterpret. It is a routine practice for China to exercise sovereignty in accordance with the law. We hope the relevant side can stay objective and calm. Prague arrives to a rousing reception. LS Speaker revokes Adi's suspension. Ajit Pawar to steer at GOM on GST reforms. Gruhalakshmi scheme launched. Railways proposes extending trains on Bengaluru to KIA route to Chikkaballapur. Occupancy rates on trains between Bengaluru city and KIA railway station are below 1%, according to an SW source. International operations at KIA Terminal 2 postponed. Recruitment scam. Bosch files plaint with cyber police. Locals to protest against illegal borewells near Whitefield. They plan to hold a protest today demanding an hand to supply of water pumped from borewells in around the city as water levels in the village are depleting. 40 years of being India's most trusted healthcare provider. State of the art plant clinic, seed production center inaugurated at ICAR IIH. The clinic will help farmers and horticulturalists with diagnostic services for their crop. Lab fire accident. A BBMP chief engineer succumbs to injuries. Senior citizen hurt in accident over 2 months ago dies. Commercial tax department unearths GST bill scam. TBM Vamika makes breakthrough. Additional trips between Majestic and MG Road metro stations on weekdays. Suspected thief shot dead in Bannerghatta forest area. The incident occurred at 1:15 a.m. When patrolling staff heard tree cutting noise in Kalkiri forest range. Congress plans to replicate Karnataka models of governance across India. Rahul. The state is showing the way for the entire country. He says that the launch of the government flagship Gruhalakshmi scheme in Mysore. Choice of Speaker to Bar Council's talk on UCC opposed. Kumar Swamy hospitalized. Yuvanidhi rollout in December on January. Sidramaya HC notice to state government on plea against appointing ineligible person as judicial member to special court. Financial literacy absent among most MSMEs in Karnataka, says KSSIA president. Weak southwest monsoon paints a cloudy picture for Karnataka. Scanty rainfall over the state has left people staring at the sky for most of August. From crop loss to the Kavi water sharing issue, the problem triggered by a weak monsoon are plenty. Veputeskyai, a story of friends, faith, and future. Access Communications opens Experience Center in Bangalore. Grunge, Hira music and Desi melodies to Aveda city. What's your musical mood this weekend? Psychedelic rock or alternate rock? Take a pick. Rebels from India's literary culinary menu. Kaleidoscope of memories. Pragyan's cameras capture Vikram lander. The rover has also been carrying out in situ scientific experiments. Guidelines cannot replace the works of Defence Act to impose restrictions on constructions. Karnataka HC. IMSC to pay homage to founder Alladi Ramakrishna. The need for an Indian system to regulate AI. Let's read this editorial page. Consider these facts. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. AI possesses the capability to fundamentally change the way in which we work. AI can, by assimilation of data from multifarious online sources, present far more powerful and seemingly creative solutions than any human can. AI is a far greater force of either good or evil. Given all these, AI needs to be regulated. East is east and west is west. Governments across the world are grappling with the regulation of AI. Till recently, the greatest advances in the regulation of AI have been made in the European Union, Brazil, Canada, Japan, and now China. Countries in the EU, Brazil, and the United Kingdom, which shall be referred to hereafter as Western systems, have adopted regulatory measures with the differences which on a closer duty has superficial. Regulations in Japan and China, however, are fundamentally different from the Western system. The Western systems have all adopted means of regulation which are intrinsically Western in character. That is to say they are founded in the Eurocentric view of jurisprudence. The Eastern model is entirely different. The Western model focuses on a risk based approach. First, lawmakers create a pyramid of risks and identity the risks posed by every type of AI based application. The pyramid of risks then proceeds to be divided into four categories: unacceptable risk, high risk, limited risk, and low risk. In the EU, therefore, lawmakers have gone about prescribing prohibited classes of activities for the unacceptable risks, a regulated class of activities for the high risks, and a simple set of disclosure based obligations for the low risks. Brazil too has followed a system of categorization of risks and regulations to address those risks. It also has strict governance measures to be complied with by all AI applications. Canada too follows a similar pattern of identifying activities to be prohibited and clear regulations on how AI based applications must function. As far as the Eastern models are concerned, the Japanese government's integrated innovation strategy for promotion council has framed a set of rules called the social principles of human centric AI. It was published by the Japanese government in March 2019 and manifests the basic principles of an AI capable society. The first part contains seven social principles that society and The state must respect when dealing with AI. Human centricity, educational literacy, data protection, ensuring safety, fair competition, fairness, accountability, and transparency, and innovation. The Chinese regulations are even more interesting. The opening lines of Article 4 of these regulations are the provision and use of generative artificial intelligence as services shall abide by laws and administrative regulations, respect to social morality and ethics, and abide by the following provisions. The law goes on to prescribe the kind of values that should be upheld and promoted by artificial intelligence services, and the ends that should be achieved through these AI based applications and services. The difference is stark. While there are areas of overlap, it is readily evident that one set of rules, the Western model, spells out what must be done and how to do it. The weight of the rules rests on the means to be adopted and the rationally underlying those means. The other set of rules focuses on the ends and the values that must be upheld by compliance with the rules. The Western model is perfect for the West. A clear set of rules which a rule abiding society will undoubtedly comply with, along with a set of prescriptions and punishments for the few who violate the law. The Western model is more open and embraces the overlap between the legality of the rules and the morality of the rules. Legal systems which process this overlap have even been given the name Hindu jurisprudence by legal philosopher Harp Freeman. Why is there this difference between the West and the East? In the 1930s, Professor Nath Rop of the Ali Law School undertook a very interesting study of legal systems in the East and the West. While he was not particularly focused on Indian legal systems, his conclusions, as outlined below, are very apt to us as well. The underlying theories, after examining the cultural relativism between the Eastern and the Western systems, Professor Nathrop concluded that Eurocentric legal systems or Western legal systems created rules of law through postulation. That is to say, the legal system defines precisely what must be done in any given social act by humans and prescribes the penalties for non-compliance therewith. On the other hand, Eastern or West Oriental legal systems created rules of law through intuition. That is to say, the law prescribes the end that is to be achieved, and the morality underlying the law that law. The subjects are intuitively divine for themselves, and the most appropriate means of achieving those ends, keeping in view the underlying morality of the law. In India, morality Abdullah. In India, our ancient legal systems were so profoundly successful because there was a clear indication of the hand to be achieved as well as an underlying moral code. People complied with those laws by the process of intuition underlaid by morality. We see repeated echoes of these in the Pandavas' exile to the forest and in Emperor Ashoka's edicts. This served us well. A neighbor China has a story where Emperor Wudi in 140 BC punished his errant sister by proclaiming, "The laws are created by many my former royal fathers. If I break their laws because of my sister, how can I face them in the royal temple after I die?" Law and morality are synonymous in the East. The British who came to India transplanted their legal system here. What we have today possesses neither the virtues of our ancient Indian system nor the virtues, which are not inconsiderable, of the English legal system. Q from the judiciary, Justice V. Ramasubramaniam, who retired recently from the Supreme Court of India, has lamented in more than one judgment that our slavish tendencies to obey Western legal systems. One of his most celebrated judgments on cryptocurrency in India, as at its core the Sanskrit epigram nethi nethi, meaning it is neither this or nor that. One would expect regulators to take the cue from our judges and frame our newest regulations based on our external models of jurisprudence. Thus, systems based on AI must be regulated. It is for India to frame its regulations. Do we slavishly copy the West and frame lengthy regulations with labyrinthine procedures and procrastine punishments? Or do we hark back to our roots and approach these regulations from a different perspective? Niti Aayog has circulated the three discussion paper which touch upon AI. In each of these, there are references only to the AI regulations in the EU, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia. It has gone on to state. The responsible AI principles discussed earlier in this paper have been developed by first identifying systemic considerations prevalent among AI systems across the world and identifying principles that may be used to mitigate the identified considerations. A reading of the discussion paper suggests that Niti Aayog is going to follow the Western model. The time has come for India to have regulations in a manner that is consistent with the Indian ethos. But and for Indians, let us hope that AI regulations is done better than indications suggest. India must look east. Yes, let's go to the next page. Cross the boulders in the Indus Water Street. The Indus Water Treaty, brokered by the World Bank, which has again become a source of contention between India and Pakistan, considerably encapsulates the principle of equitable allocation rather than the principle of appreciable harm. Both India and Pakistan are granted exclusive rights to utilize the waters of the rivers allocated to them without harming others' interests. Under the IWT, India has unrestricted use of the three eastern rivers, River Ravi, Beas, and Satluj, while Pakistan enjoys similar rights over the three western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. India is allowed to store 3.606 million acre foot, 0.40 MAF on the Indus, 1.50 MF on the Jhelum, and 1.70 MAF on the Chenab of water. The sector-wise allocation is 2.85 MAF for conservation storage divided into 1.25 MAF for general storage and 1.60 for power storage and an additional 0.75 MAF for flood storage. The issue is India's hydel projects. The core of the issue now between India and Pakistan involves the Kashi Ganga and the Ratle hydroelectric power plants in India's Jammu and Kashmir. India considers these projects crucial for Indian energy needs and the region's development, while Pakistan has raised objections citing violations of the treaty and potential negative effects on its water supply, which goes against the provisions outlined in Annex D of the treaty. Pakistan first raised its concerns over the Kashi Ganga project in 2006 and the Ratle project and the Chenab in 2012. In 2010, the dispute of the Kashiganga project was taken to the Court of Arbitration. Pakistan contended that India's plan is not in line with the Article 3rd, Article 4th of 6 and paragraph 15 3rd of the Annex D of the IWT. In 2013, the COA delivered the final judgment ruling that the Kashiganga hydroelectric project is a run-of river dam and India and the IWT can divert water from the river Kashiganga and Neelam for power generation. However, the court stated that India has to maintain a minimum flow of water in the Kashiganga or Neelam river to 9 cubic meter of water per second. After the COA's judgment, the two countries reached an amicable resolution on only one out of four issues which that were expected to be resolved. Despite several rounds of talks between the Indus water commissioners, Delhi and Islamabad could not resolve the other three matters relating to pondage and spillway configuration. Consequently, Pakistan went to the World Bank accusing India of violating the IWT and the World Court's verdict. Islamabad also raised objections to the Ratel project. In 2016, Pakistan requested the World Bank to form a COA. To this, India requested a neutral expert be appointed to deal with the dispute. At that time, the World Bank paused the works and the Kaziganga and Ratley projects to allow the two countries to consider alternative ways to resolve their disagreements. Despite the pause, works on Kaziganga continued, and in 2018, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Kaziganga project a day before Mr. Modi visited to Jammu and Kashmir. At least 9 people were killed on both sides of the border in firing by security officials from these two sides. Pakistan raised its concerns with the World Bank. In October 2022, the World Bank appointed Michael Lino as the neutral expert and Professor Seen Mappi as chairman of the COE. India's stand on July 6, 2023, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, RPCA, chaired by Professor Murphy, and unanimously rejected India's objections and confirmed its competence to consider and resolve the disputes raised by Pakistan. India has been abstaining from participating in the proceedings at the PCA and did not attend the present proceedings as well. On the question of its competence to take up such matters, the PCA, based on its interpretation of paragraph 1 of Annex G and Article 9 of unanimously said that it is competent to consider and determine the disputes set forth in Pakistan's request for arbitration. After the PCA made its observations, India said that it cannot be compelled to recognize or participate in illegal and parallel proceedings not envisaged by the treaty. India has been participating in the neutral experts proceedings. A whole past meetings was held at The Hague on February 27 to 28. The next meeting is scheduled in September. A trust deficit. In a line of advice to address the disputes over the shared waters, an opinion article in the Hindu, Modhan Court Action revisit the Indus Waters Treaty, July 20, 2023, observes that more than going to court, the need is to incorporate equitable and reasonable utilization and the no harm rule in the IWT. Pragmatically, any such incorporation requires better ties and enduring trust between India and Pakistan. Due to a wide trust deficit between the two countries, there is a remote chance of Pakistan accepting India's request to negotiate to modify some of the provisions in the IWT. Second, there is a need to involve local stakeholders also in any negotiation process between India and Pakistan on shared water issues. Also, a joint group comprising technocrats, climate experts, water management professionals, and scientists from both countries can be set up to look at the core of the problem. Third, to make the IWT work, there is a need to explore cooperation arrangements mentioned in the Article 7th of the IWT. The two countries have to recognize their common interest in the optimum development of the Indus Rivers system. Finally, as the IWT was signed more than 60 years ago, an amendment or two or some may be needed due to changes in the situation in the Indus Water River Basin region. However, the provisions of the IWT cannot be modified unilaterally, hence any modification requires trust between the two riparian countries. Let's go to the next page. This is the water dispute treaty. Playing out a farce. The Manipur Assembly disregards their duty by adjourning Saint Die at a time crisis. Share the distress. The plight of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu shows need for distress sharing formula. Controlling women's sexual autonomy is a direct to Project 39A National Law University Delhi views are personal. Ferils are on the high seas. The debate on Ketchativu is likely to turn intense before the general election. In India, 74% can't afford a healthy diet, UN agency report. While food prices remain relatively low in India, the healthy diet is unaffordable to nearly three-fourths of the people given their low incomes. US wanted Bhutto to draft plan to try Bengalis. Australian government reviews children's custody after death of Indian origin mother. Activists call for central intervention in child custody cases abroad to hand over a memorandum to the Australian High Commissioner today. They demand that the children who were not allowed to attend their mother's funeral in India be returned to their family at the earliest. The cases were part of a pattern where Indians and Indian origin newcomers to rich G20 countries are prosecuted by the child services due to cultural differences. Karnataka starts releasing water. Aadhaar-based payment plan for MGNREGS put top again. Railways to expedite installation of safety systems on passenger trains. Violence continues in Manipur. 7 more persons injured. Mortars, automatic weapons were being used by the groups in hills and valleys to fire at each other. CJ asks if President could be override accommodation and Article 370 abrogation. Energy ties between India and Russia to increase this year, says Moscow's trade chief. More parties joining India ranks. Pawar says on eve of meet. Indians are more likely to believe nation's influence is growing. Pure survey. PM should speak on Chinese incursions, says Rahul Gandhi. Congress leader says the new map published by China is a serious issue. Adds that a neighboring country has already taken over Indian land. Have been saying this for years now that the Prime Minister's claim that not an inch of land has been taken away from Ladakh is a complete lie. Rahul's allegations on land grab by China are baseless, says Prahlad. Lok Sabha Speaker revokes Adi's suspension after a privilege panel's resolution. Smooth operation of LAM critical to Aditya L1 success. The ISRO will be using a liquid apogee motor identical to the one used in the Mars and the Moon missions, says LPSCC chief. The motor will be shut down for the best part of the 4-month journey. Coronagraph of Aditya L1 will send 1440 images of sun. DGCA carrying out technical evaluation of 2 Indigo planes. Over 6 lakh for software to translate court judgments. G20 must help deal with the glaring inequities revealed by the pandemic, says WHO. While some regions surged hard with vaccinations and treatments, others were left waiting. This glaring inequity serves as a profound lesson. Green Code directs a BRO to plant 10,000 trees in Uttarakhand in a month. Power of Gayatri Mantra. The most powerful mantra in the world is the Gayatri Mantra. We often hear our Acharyas say, Gayantam Trayate Asmatu Gayatri Thyabhidhyate. It is a very simple phrase with the most profound meaning. Whoever recites Gayatri Mantra will be able to realize God fully. Reciting Gayatri helps one to meditate deeply on the splendors image of Bhagavan, resulting in an overflow of love for God and an outpouring of devotion. This will also guide us in taking the path of righteousness and lead a virtuous life. He said Thirukundai Dr. Venkatesh in a discourse. The Gayatri Mantra is an extant one brought to the forefront by the sage Vishwamitra, and he is considered the seer of this mantra. It is ordained that one should practice Sandhya Vadanam 3 times a day and chant the Gayatri 1008 times. That is not possible. If that is not possible, one should recite it at least 1 or 8 times. Reciting it 10 times as an exemption is permitted only in extreme cases. Gayatri Mantra is also protective shield. Why do our elders say Chanthasam Matha? For the simple reason that she is the mother of all mantras. As a mother, she cannot bear it if her child is hungry. This is the reason for holding the Kumara Bhojanam before initiating a new child into Upanya Upanayanam. This is also a mantra which can be chanted at any time of the day at and night. Can be chanted at any time of the day or and any time of the day by anyone. CHQ worker admits trying to murder US government employee. 10 killed in anti-UN peacekeeping protest rally in the ETR Congo's Goma. Floods drowned August. Nearly 1.3 lakh people evacuated. Japan PM eats safe Fukushima fish days after wastewater dump. Rebel soldiers in Gabon claim to have outstayed their president. Russia says Ukraine drones struck up deep into its territory. Imran will be in jail for 2 more weeks. A business in China could be risky. US Global Fund secures deal to slash HIV treatment prices to benefit over 19 million. It would be possible to provide the advanced pill known as TLD for under 45 per person per year. Dell, HP, 30 other firms show interest in IT hardware PLI. Scheme incentivizes laptop, PC, tablet, and server makers to assemble products domestically. The government recently announced restrictions on laptop imports that will take effect November 1st. High prices, low income could eat rural demand. Indian Bank gets a director's note to raise 4,000 crore. A SoftBank fund cuts stake in Zomato in a 115 million deal. India asks US to release funds project over Russia link. Ajit Pawar to steer GOM and GST system reforms again. Fintech firm PhonePe forays into stock broking. RBI's DOS flags concerns over a few urban cooperative banks. India Nippon Electrical's ICE EV product lines. Brent oil price may rise to 97 in 2024. India is set to beat for 2027 World Athletic Championship. Neeraj. Mars pose Australia to 2026 brave before Shang spins a web over Sessi. Leton out of Asia Cup with Pivo. Anamul takes his place in squad. Kasia and Wood on fire as England keeps New Zealand down to 139. Teenage sensation Prague, the toast of Chennai. It feels great to see so many people turn up here and it is very good for chess, says the young grandmaster waving the national flag from an open top car with a specialized level livery. Teenage sensation Prague, the toast of Chennai. It feels great to see so many people turn up here, and it is very good for chess. Says the Hang Grandmaster waving the national flag from an open top car with a specialized livery. Gop overs passed on Riva, no spit for Alcaraz. Big ticket Highway Railways contest lives up to its building. TNC President Z goes down to Chhattisgarh without a fight. We shot to contest for CGF vice president's post. Manchester United Varane ruled out for a few weeks. An intense semi-final looms as Bagan and Goa lock horns. Neeraj Chopra will look to continue his unbeaten streak. Top stars are set to throw light on key issues. Focus on Prague, but it's a ladies first as at Tata Steel Chess. Scar Sports picks up a minority stake in a Siem Reap based club Anchor Tiger FC. At 43, Venus still striving to succeed. Sports for change, sports for change, sports for change, committed to lighting up children's lives. Under this project, students are introduced to multiple disciplines before they select the one they wanted to pursue and they are given coaching through specialists. After competition at different levels, leading to a national meet, those who shine are picked for excellence program for higher training. Good. Do we need radical alternatives to scientific publishing? Many calls for open access publishing continues to identify ways to make science more accessible by increasing the funds available to pay subscription fees or APCs. But doing so will only reinforce the current market model, which has been cornered by a few publishing houses. What to do with spent nuclear fuel? Scientists approach science with a view to publish in journals. So journals have acquired a license to dictate research design over simply pursuing good science. Options include storing spent fuel to infuse until they cool and in dry casks and burying them in near surface disposal facilities at the ground level or below. May marking the birth anniversary of Ernest Rutherford. Text and context. This is the last page. The number of people affected by floods in the stores in the state of Assam, 3.4 lakh people. It's too bad. Videos removed by YouTube from January to March in India, 1.9 million. The rise in foreign tourists to India from January to June, 1.6 in percentage. Conjunctivitis cases reported in Himachal Pradesh in August. The worth of weapons to be sent by the US to Ukraine. Understanding curbs on rice exports. Why did the government impose a 20% export duty on parboiled rice till October 15? What can domestic consumers expect this move? What has been the reaction of exporters? What is the extent of rice production and export in India? What are the changes to the process for sale of SIM cards? What are the features of the citizen-centric portal Sanchar Sati? What are the latest revisions is in registering final point of sale by providers? So how will these measures tackle cybercrime? Know your English. The sky is not the limit to probing the minds of scientists associated with this issue. As the country continues to rejoice in the triumph of Chandrayaan 3's successful landing on the moon's south pole, we bring you books which explain what drives the Indian Space Research Organization's spirit of innovation. Late Show with David Letterman debuted on CBS on August 30th, 1993. It is a quiz on the talk show genre that originated in the United States. Let's go to the next. This is the last page, guys. Editorial page. I hope you guys read at least continue for the 2 hours in a day to make you better in communication. So really, it will be helpful for you. So to improve your communication. So please follow the tips which I have given in the previous videos, and see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.